Hey, how you doing? It's Clayton here from howtodrawcomics.net and welcome to another comic art class. Now these comic art classes are a little different to the tutorials and videos that we regularly give you here on howtodrawcomics.net. We take a trained instructor, a student, and we combine them together to give you pretty much the closest experience online that you could get to being actually in a classroom watching a teacher demonstrate what it is they're going to teach you to do. So today we have Aaron Bartling as the instructor, Katie Price as the student, and of course, as always, the wonderful Ric Bülow, who will be hosting today's comic art class. I hope that you enjoy it, that you get a ton of value out of it. Let's jump straight into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to another How to Draw Comics art class. As always, I'm your brilliant host, Ric Bülow, and today I got something really special for you. Today, as you can probably tell by the face to the right, Aaron Bartling is back.
Hey, what's up guys? How's everyone doing?
And today as well, as you already know, we usually have a student with us. And I wanted seeing that we got you back, Aaron, I thought we should bring back the student as well. So, welcome back, Katie.
Thank you. Oh shit. Sorry.
How are you?
Sorry, I messed it up. Hi. Thank you for having me.
Well, yeah, well, you're welcome now. What an intro. Oh shit.
What a great intro.
What are we doing today, Aaron?
Okay, today we are doing a, we're doing a Wolverine portrait. So basically I'm just going to be going through the process of color, value, and lighting.
And
so, yeah.
And Katie, you got the PSD as well, so you are following.
Yeah, I'm following alongside Aaron.
Cool. I will make sure at the end of this, before I put it up on Facebook, when I'm editing it, I will get your version of it and I'll put it in to compare. Okay. Just for the fun, just to show people that you were actually listening and learning.
Always.
So let's, without further ado, this is gonna be a long one for us, so let's get started.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay, guys. So first and foremost, something I just wanted to address for the video is that this is my process, and this is how I go about doing each painting, and this is my own workflow. So obviously, I'm not throughout this video. You know, this isn't telling people, oh, you have to paint this way or you have to work this way. This is, you know, everyone has their own process. So this is just how I work. So I just wanted to put that out there before we start. So yeah, but hopefully, you know, if you guys are learning how to paint or digitally paint, hopefully you guys can take away some pointers from this and learn a little bit. So yeah. So this is the line work. If I do any tutorials in the future, I want to go over doing, you know, the drawing. When I do paintings, I don't really do super tight painting or drawings with the line work. As you can see, it's a little messy, but you know, I want to get at least something that's somewhat of a good foundation that I can work off of, and then you know, as it goes along, as the painting moves along, I'll either lower the opacity on the line work until it's completely gone, or I'll just make a layer and I'll paint directly over the lines until all the black is gone. I'm sure a lot of you guys work that way. It's pretty common process for a lot of people. But yeah, so I just have one layer. And I don't like to work in a lot of layers. I kind of try to work more along the lines of like an oil painter, which obviously they don't have layers, so it's just, you know, you're just going for it pretty much. So I try to keep things just like a few layers max. But yeah, so this is my line work, and then so I'll make a new layer, and then I'll drag that layer under my line work. So this is going to be my color layer, and I'll have a few color layers and then I'll end up merging them together, and you know, further along the process. So, Katie, are you all good to go, or?
Yeah, just create my color layer.
Cool. Sweet. Okay, so my next step is I have a lot of brushes, but I probably
Holy
should.
moly!
That is so many.
I should probably start deleting a lot of these because I don't even use them. But I just like having them there in case the one instance where I'm like, oh shoot, I really need this specific brush for this specific thing. But in general, I usually only stick to like 3 brushes max. So, and I just got an email from Etsy. Cool. So I'll use a hard ink brush. This is kind of my go-to. So Katie, I don't know if you have any. I'm sure you could just use the hard round. That'll work.
Yeah, because here's the thing is.
How about darker pencil?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be like, basically we're just going to be filling things in with a flat color. So anything that you have that's a little bit harder would be good. So you just have so this is kind of how it's going to look. Just a real hard brush that there's no drag on it. So yeah. So. Yeah, so I'm just going to start filling all this in.
So I can see you got you're using the 2020 Photoshop. How are you liking it so far?
I like it. I think it's cool. It's not too much different from previous versions, but I've noticed a few things that are a little different. But
I absolutely love the new subject selector. That's just gold.
Oh yeah, it's nice. It's really nice.
Also, it also feels like it handles your RAM a little bit easier, which I kind of like, because I always hate that with Photoshop, is how it just messes up your RAM.
Yeah.
Your memory, how tough it is on your memory. But I feel it's not perfect, but it's in the right direction.
Oh yeah, for sure. I don't think any of these programs will ever be like totally perfect, but I think they're getting pretty close to getting to that point, because now it is like the standard across the board for.
I mean, Clip Studio is more focused on only art after all, so it's. I've never felt a memory issue with that program, to be honest.
As someone that also uses it, I'd highly recommend it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I always heard people talking about using it, but I never checked it out. But I should.
Yeah, for sure. Check it out. It is really great. The only reason I still do Photoshop is also because I do a lot of photo manipulation and all that for the art jobs out. And it's just easier to have one program that can do it all for me. But the more I'm gonna start working with art and less photo stuff, I might go to Clip Studio Paint, because that's just awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely worth a try, and I think your painting style, with your painting style, you'll love the features you can get from Clip Studio Paint for sure.
Yeah.
It's really good, and you can go high up in resolution without there being any problems.
Yeah, it's cool. One of my goals this year has been wanting to get better with my iPad, because I have the iPad Pro and I got it last January or February, and I barely used it. I only used it for like figure drawing, and I never used it for painting. And now it's like, man, like that, it's such a powerful, Procreate is so awesome, and the iPad's so powerful. It's like a little laptop. So I'm like, really want to take advantage of it and start using it more, because there's some people that do some really cool paintings with it.
You can do Clip Studio Paint as well on your iPad.
Yeah.
But Procreate is really great as well. The brush feels really natural.
I think I struggle more with Procreate. I think Clip Studio is a bit more basic. It reminds me the most of Photoshop, for me at least.
Yeah, for sure. It's like it's taken all the artistic assets of Photoshop and pulled into one program.
Oh, hang on, 1 second.
It is fine. I will edit all this anyways.
Sorry.
Katie, are you still good? You're still following along?
Yeah, I'm just following. I had a slight issue with it freezing, but I think it's to do with my new screen cover, not the tablet.
Oh, okay.
Because I got that paper textured screen protector. It feels great when I'm painting, but I think it stops my the sensitivity. Only drawback to it. I don't know if you can hear it, but it sounds like actual paper.
I can hear a little.
Yeah, I can kind of hear it, yeah.
That's the only thing I miss with my Cintiq was the paper-like feeling. But I'm way more happy and more excited about my Huion now than I've ever been with. Yeah, I absolutely.
How do you like that, Rick? You like
I am happy that I changed it from my Cintiq.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean,
Cool,
the wildest thing about it is the price, man. I mean, what I paid for Cintiq 13 HD is the same price I gave for Huion 24.
Yeah.
That's just insane, man.
I used to have a Huion, and there was like no fault to it. The only difference between that and the Wacom was that the Wacom had a softer pad.
Yeah, and now with the newer Huions, there's pretty much no difference at all.
Yeah, that's cool.
I've never had a problem with the drivers on my Huion, for example. And with Cintiq, I had problems almost every time I started up Photoshop.
Oh wow. Yeah, I've been rocking. Wait, let me see which one I have. I have the Intuos 5 small. I think I've had this since like 2000 like I think like 12 or something. I've had it for a long time.
Oh, whoops! So, you messed up. You gone messed up there, Aaron.
No, Rick, that's the plan. This is what I wanted. No, just kidding.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. And sorry if I'm clearing my voice a lot. I'm like still trying to get over being sick, so okay. I apologize.
So Katie, since the last time we were you remember what we were trying to teach you there?
Yeah, the bean for the body, especially the way it twisted and stuff, you recommended that, as well as like with the stance and stuff, and about visualizing the sort of distance between the arms and stuff, like the shape in between Aaron mentioned before. When that helped a lot, especially when it came to me practicing life drawing.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen your progress afterwards, and I'm sure Aaron has as well, and will agree with me that you've just jumped so quickly. You've picked like what other people might have spent years on doing, going from where you were to now within half a year. Some other people might take a year or even 3. You've really stepped it up. Like, I'm impressed, and I keep telling you that over and over again, but now you also got it on recording.
Yeah.
It's validated now.
Now she can never deny that you said it.
Exactly. I have
There.
proof.
I will never deny it because you got to admit, Aaron, if you've seen her
No,
recent stuff.
Yeah, you can tell she's put in the work for sure.
Thank you. It's
Yeah,
especially with expressions. That's something I've been working a lot on lately. But the last lesson helped me the most with shapes. And I think that's what helped a lot
yeah,
with the way I drill. Because before, my drawings were very, very stiff. I always tried to make things perfect, like straight away. Whereas now I'm spending longer and longer on each drawing. And having feedback from you two really helps.
Well,
and
that's
honestly,
why... Go on.
No, I was just gonna say, and honestly, that's good. Like I couldn't agree more with people that take their time and just try to really nail the process, because I think a lot of people, especially with figures, they're so keen to like bust something out really legit in in a short amount of time, and then everything looks horrible. The proportions are all messed up. There's no gesture, and it's like, okay, yeah, you might have did the drawing quickly, but it's like, what's the point if you're not getting any better and you're not learning anything?
Exactly.
I think people are so focused on the speed aspect of it, and it's like, well, just take a step back, slow down, and know what you're drawing. What are you learning? It's like it's not a race, it's a journey. So
Yeah, exactly. Whereas because when I was younger, I was classed as, well, this was before my teens, I was classed as talented, if you get me. And then when I took it back up, I found I was really far behind. So I really was trying to rush it, if that makes sense.
yeah.
It's like, I don't know how to explain it. I just, And it was something I wasn't used to drawing as well, especially my own characters and stuff. That's something else I was trying to rush. I wanted to have my character be perfect, like off the bat.
Yeah.
I didn't take my time.
Yeah.
That's the main issues with many would-be artists. They want the end to happen before they even go through the whole journey, and then they get upset easily, and then they give up because it takes so much longer. It's so hard. I'll never work this out. Look at all the rest of the people that got it going. Yeah, but you know what? We spent at least 10 years plus to get where we are, and you're there, and you sit there. I'm not saying you, Katie. I'm just saying you in general. And you sit there and complain after the first 10 days of doing art. I mean, whenever people does that, I can't help but feel a little bit a slap to the face, right? Aaron, you got to admit that it's a bit of
I think the biggest slap to the face, but you know what? Like, I try to have grace for people and understand, because sometimes they're just ignorant or naive or something. But a lot of people, I think the thing that bothers me the most is when people say, "Oh, you're so talented."
Oh yes. Oh,
so much. People say you're so talented, because it's like, okay, I think that in a sense that yes, like some people might be more artistically inclined, but it's like you're like, all the skills that you have are because you put the hours, the time, the long nights, the early mornings, the deadlines, all these kind of things you did like over the years, and no one sees that part. They just see, oh, you did the art, that's cool, but it's like they don't know like how
the process,
what you went through to be able to achieve what you're doing at that time.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what bugs me the most, is that it's like, okay, you say I'm talented, but acknowledge the time put in to get to the point where I'm at.
Yeah.
Are you doing a bit on the line work, by the way? Ooh.
Yeah, just a little bit. It's not, you don't have to do it on your end, but So really quick, just to, I know I haven't really been talking about what I'm doing, but I am just getting all the flat colors in, and I'm not sure. A lot of what I do too with paintings is it's a lot of experimentation. So I like doing sometimes cool shadows and warm tones, or vice versa, warm shadows and cooler tones. So it's a lot. I'm just going to kind of be, as the process goes along, as the painting goes forward, I do a lot of play with this hue saturation and my color balance. So I play with these a lot. And then
Oh wait, did you put all the colours on different layers?
yeah, they're all on different layers. But you don't have to if you don't want to.
Is that on a separate layer as well, the teeth and the gums?
Let's see. Yep.
Yep. Okay, so once I've done that,
And I mean, we're gonna end up once the color palette is pretty much set in place, we'll end up just merging it all together as it goes along. So.
So what you're basically saying is, first separating it from the to all layers will be for no point in like a few seconds.
wait, what?
No, it's not gonna happen that soon, but I mean, like, yeah, basically it's just gonna be pointless. No, we're gonna do that later, but it's good to just at least have these set up here for now, and then we can get rid of them later. So soon enough.
All that effort for nothing.
No, it's all for something. I promise.
Okay.
It's good to have these because the reason we're doing that is because I'm going to be doing stuff like this. Like once we figure out what color scheme we want to go with, like if we want to have the skin tones warmer, like that, or that's actually kind of nice. I kind of like that skin tone. Or if we want to have it cooler side, like how all these tones are cool, like this is slightly warm, but this, like all this, look at on here.
Yeah.
These are like
Quick question: can you color pick the teeth on yours, just so I can see the color?
Yeah.
So it's on purple hue. See, I'm on a blue one, and it went quite.
Mine is. I actually made mine warmer though. Mine are a bit warmer.
So yellow. Right, got you. Because they weren't quite matching. Ooh, that was skin toned, the one I've done. Okay, more on the grey.
And these are actually, like some of these are like, this is warm. These are all warm tones, but they look cool. But some of these are cool.
That's just your face, Aaron, that makes it look cool.
Yeah. Like these are cool. Like the further you get this way, these are warm tones, but it's like some are kind of in the cool purplish blue.
I think I'm ready to carry on.
Okay, cool. All right.
So back.
So we're good to go?
Yep.
Cool.
Which one's this that you're changing? Skin tone.
Yeah. Okay. So next step. Something I wanted to go over real quick too is there's another shortcut, but I can't think of it right now. But what I'll do is I constantly am trying to make sure that my values are looking good throughout the painting. So what I'll do is I'll make another layer. There's a shorter way, and I have it set up right now to Command Y. So that brings up my values. I can't think of the shortcut right now. It's somewhere, I think it's like, I don't know on the program that you do, but it's going to like proof colors or proof setup, and then you switch it to working gray, I think. Or
is it show tone area?
It might be, but here's an easy way to do it. So I'll make a new layer. I'll put it at the top. I'll fill my paint bucket with black, and then I'll cover over the whole painting. And then what I'll do is, so on yours, I think you can do that, right? You can just fill the whole canvas with black. Okay. And then you're going to go down, and you're going to set that layer to color.
Ah, got it.
So then you can just click it on and off, on and off.
Got you. It looks pretty similar to yours.
You can't just put a black and white layer on it, correction layer.
This one's pretty cool.
I mean,
there's different ways to do it. I've always just done it like this, but I mean, I have mine set up for with hotkeys where I just hit Command Y instead of clicking this off, because it's just way faster to hit Command Y on and off. I just forgot how I did it, but YouTube is there for a reason. But yeah, okay, so I like to have this at the very beginning just so that I can always, be making sure that the values are working. And so, let's see.
Ooh.
Okay. So now I'm going to make another layer, and I think I want to do a dark blue background. So I'll go to my blue, and not super saturated. So I mean, once I actually start painting, I'll kind of go more into it. But I like to stay like in this mid range, like in here for color. This is like the sweet spot, I feel like, because your values, I don't know, they just look really good when you're not. I feel like here it's starting to look really opaque the more desaturated you go, and then obviously things look funny when it's super saturated. So I try to stay in this realm because I can go, if I want to push things a little bit more desaturated, I'm right there. Or if I want to push some things a little bit more saturated, I'm right there. So this whole middle spot is just, it's worked for me where I like, and then it's nice because say I'm working in this mid-range blue, and then I want to add a slight hue of some purple, and you just use your slider and go up, just add maybe a little bit of different tone, or if you want to go the opposite direction and get a little bit more turquoise, you can go that way. So, yeah, I mean, I don't like staying in this realm. This is really, anything over here is super desaturated, and I feel like everyone has their own style, and some paintings look really, really cool and really good with desaturated colors, and then doing hits of really saturated to make it pop for a focal point. But I like working in here because it's like it's not too desaturated and it's not overly saturated where it looks cartoony. So if that makes sense. So we'll do so we'll make a new layer. We'll drag it at the very bottom, and then we will go somewhere like in this range, a little darker, and then we'll just fill it. And so I was just thinking, just for the sake of this video, because I don't want to make it any longer than it needs to be, but we'll forego doing any crazy backgrounds. We'll just kind of have a simple dark background with maybe some texture or something. So. But real quick, before we do that, I'm just going to fill in his eyes. I forgot. Yeah. So let's fill those in real quick. Cool. All right. So let the games begin. So next step is I'll make another layer. And I know at the very beginning, I should have brought this up, but at the very beginning of the video, I said that I don't work with a lot of layers. So I take it back. Initially, I do work with a good amount of layers, but that's only just kind of at the beginning of the painting, and then near the mid to end range of the moving in the final stages, that's when I merge everything together, and I just start painting over everything on like, I'll just, boop, so everything's just on one thing. But that's not till later. So, okay, so you're all good, Katie? We're all caught up?
Yeah, I'm all caught up.
Okay, cool. So, let's see, I'm gonna darken this a little bit.
Are we darkening the yellow?
Yeah, just a tad. And then let's also darken his
Mask.
his mask just a little bit. And let's check the value. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's see what the face looks like darker. Okay, let's keep that lighter, and let's, okay. So yeah, pretty much just keep everything where it's at except for the, you can make the mask darker. Let me see what this is. Okay, cool. Okay, so next step. So now that we have all the flat colors in, next step is separating everything in value, which is going to be shadows. So I'll hit everything with a really hard shadow so I can establish all those, and then as the painting moves along, we'll start softening edges where they need to be, or keeping them hard, depending on how the light's hitting it. For instance, here is a harder shadow with the light coming up and the nose casting this shadow. And then as it falls off, these are all going to be softer shadows. So like in the chest area, this is all soft shadows. So, this is a harder shadow, stuff like that.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah. So let's get that going. We can just, you don't have to name it. You can just make another layer, and then, actually click on your yellow layer.
Yeah.
And then we'll start with that first. So click on the yellow layer, and then let's see. Let's try to go somewhere in here.
Are we painting on the same layer?
Yep. So you'll just paint on your yellow layer.
Okay. And
you can move it a little bit more towards the orange, and then and pretty saturated. So another thing too about shadows is it's nice to keep your shadows saturated. I mean, that's not always the case, but I like having my shadow colors to be pretty saturated. I feel like things get kind of muddy when it's not. So.
Okay. Cool.
So
you can use just a kind of guess where this line of light. Oh, ignore the nips. But
think of the children.
Yeah, think of the children. So just color all this in, give those nice shadow colors, and then let's see. So what do you guys think? Do you guys like the warmer, or do you think we should go more cool with the yellow? What do you think?
quite like
that, or more warm?
maybe a bit more cool.
Yeah.
About
Like
there,
that?
yeah. That was quite natural there.
Right there?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I like that too. Okay, so let's see. So next, we'll just color pick that. And then let's move up the head. Make this a little smaller. So we'll use our cool sideshow collectible statue for some reference ideas.
Not sponsored.
Huh?
Not
Not
sponsored, by the way.
Yeah, not sponsored, not sponsored. We're not being paid. And then just, oops. So since we're using one layer, excuse me, since we're using one layer, just, you know, if you make a mistake, just color pick your original local color and then, you know, make your adjustment.
So why are you not using the dark overlay layer like some people would?
I don't like overlay because I feel like it's, sometimes it's just kind of tricky. Like it does stuff that you don't want it to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I just like doing everything pretty manual. And like kind of reiterate what I talked about earlier, like a lot of people, you know, and this isn't, you know, against anyone, like everyone has their own workflow, but, you know, I don't like doing tricks like multiply or overlay or whatever. I don't like doing stuff like that. I like just being as manual as possible so that it's like almost like an oil painter, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you had one shot, one go at it, and in a way it kind of trains me because I want to start painting traditionally this year if I can, just with stuff, and so I want to try to like start getting in the habit of just putting in all the work and not letting the program do all kinds of tricks for me. I mean, I do like tricks here and there for like, you know, like these kind of things, doing the value stuff, but for the most part, it's like I just try to work how a traditional painter would do because that's how we should all think, like a traditional painter when you're painting. Anyways, okay, so, I mean, this is all pretty much in shadow. There'll be some parts of light here hitting here, but for the most part, it's going to be pretty shadowed. Okay, so we can move on to the mask part for shadows. So we'll just color select that. And let's see.
One sec.
This whole node area is all in shadow. So we're going to knock all this back.
Just give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries.
Got it.
And if you need me to slow down at all, Katie, because I know I'm kind of working fast, just for time purposes. But you know, if you need me to slow down or you want me to wait for a second, you can just let me know and I'll stop.
Thank you.
Yeah. So another thing too is as we're painting that I'm going to be thinking about is thinking about the planes of the face. So if you look at my face, so the light's coming from this direction, the nose is casting this shadow. So there's a plane here and there's another plane change here going up along the eyelid. So we're going to want to think about that when we're painting, just to keep the structure is really important if you want things to feel dimensional. So so there's a plane and the eyelid and the socket of the eye, this whole area, these are plane changes. So that's what's going to keep things from flattening out.
You can also see that on the shadow if you, on your reference on the reference picture where it changes if you look closely enough.
Yep. See, and isn't that cool how, I mean, we're only at the very kind of beginning stages, and just by adding those few shadows, it already is adding, excuse me, gosh, man, I'm tired of this. it's already adding dimension. Yeah, just by that. You can tell that there's a light source coming from here.
Yeah, it doesn't really take much, and
yeah, it's just a little bit of adding some tones here and there, and it can really start bringing things to life.
And that's always my advice for people when they say, "Oh, okay, I'm at a place now with my painting, and even though it's only the startup, I don't know where to go." And I'm like, well, I usually advise, well, play around with it. Play around with it. At some point, you'll do something that'll be like, ooh, that'll work.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about experimenting.
Yeah, experimenting, because that's how you learn. You learn the best by experimenting, and yes, tutorials and guides and teachers can help you a lot, but it's what you find out on your own. Those I see moment that's really stick to you.
Yeah.
And doing art is really learning by doing the kind of thing. You can sit and watch tutorials for hours upon hours, but if you're not working at the same time, what you learn differs really a lot. I've tested this on myself. I tried just for the fun of it. I tried a different approach to digital painting and coloring. And first, I just sat there and watched the whole tutorial, the whole thing without painting anything. And then afterwards, I tried a while painting while I was listening, and the difference was just almost like night and day.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's cool. Yeah, it's exciting when you start having those kind of breakthroughs and when you start learning different ways to do stuff.
The epiphany.
Yeah.
Right. Are we going on to the shoulder pads now?
Yeah, and another thing too. Sorry, I keep forgetting to tell you stuff. So what I do too is once we get all of our flat colors in, I'll lock the layer. So if you can see, when we're doing the shadows, I can be painting outside of the area, and I don't have to worry about going outside of what I already colored. So just lock all I'm not sure in Clip Studio how you do that, but I'm sure there's an option to lock them.
I just use the magic wand tool.
Okay, yeah, that works. And then that way you're not going outside the lines and having to redo stuff that you're doing. So, and in those respects, I like working digitally because you have those cool options. Whereas if you're painting traditionally, you got to be a lot more tedious to not mess things up. See how what I'm doing? See, so you can do this with the shoulder pads. I'm just adding some different tones and kind of giving that illusion of the of that. He's got like this. The shoulder pads are like a metallic surface, like a metal surface. So I'm not going super crazy with the highlights. Like I could go like really bright with it like that. But since it's in shadow, I'm trying to keep these a little bit on the darker side. So as our references in the shadow. And we might have kind of like this shot has some, you might have like some bounce light or reflected light from somewhere else, but we'll just keep it simple for now. So this, we can go brighter.
Other side is bright on.
Okay, so that's pretty good. Let's do the face now.
Ooh. Sorry, face.
So let's see. We'll start adding our shadows in the face. Same thing, just use a or I should have sent you the reference picture, my bad. But,
It's alright, I'm just going off of the colours that you're going off on, like rough
Okay.
estimation.
Cool.
I mean, if you want to see where I'm at, I can always send you a picture.
Yeah, 1 second. Let me just get these last areas in. Actually, oh shoot, you know what? Okay, sorry. One thing I like to do with the skin is I'll make another layer and I'll name it shadows. And that way, what's cool about doing this is that, so we have our flat color, our flat basic color for the face established, and then we'll make the layer, the shadows on top of it. And once we start laying those in, what's cool is then we can do a lot of adjustments. So if we want to go cooler with the shadows, if we want to go warmer, that way it's separated from the original skin tones, and then you have to play with seeing like what looks cool, what doesn't. So a little more.
Oh, we're going darker.
That's a little too dark. This is all in shadow. Mm-hmm. This. Chin. It doesn't have to be perfect because, you know, we're going to be painting over it, but just at least so that we have a good base to go off of. This is actually all. It's just that crack. This. So, and thinking about our values, so with the shadows, we're going to be hitting this area, and all this. It's going to be very dark. Like if you look at it, on here, look how dark that is. Yeah. I mean, this is where the lightest part of the values is, in the nose. And then like there's not a lot of light getting into this area and right under by the nose. So when we're doing a painting, we can hit these areas with a lot darker because that's how it actually is. Oops. Okay.
I'm just gonna quickly do a save.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fine.
saving is important.
Mm. We're going back onto the mask.
Yes. Just hitting it with some more shadow.
But the right-hand side's slightly lighter than the other one, right?
Yeah, this is where the most light's hitting the face. Cool, it's coming along. It's crazy how just even flat colors, we're not even doing any rendering yet, and it's already,
Yeah.
there's already a lot of dimension even just with two tones,
It doesn't take much.
Yeah.
I mean,
So let's add, so near the trap and the neck, there's shadows here. So we'll add shadow in here. Are you all caught up? Do you want me to wait? Sorry if I'm rushing.
yeah. Let me just quickly go
I'll
back
give you
on.
a second if you need to catch up.
Just need to go on to the. Let me just double check. Yeah. So onto the body again, around the neck.
Yeah.
So are we using the same tone as the previous one?
Yep. So just color select here,
Yeah.
and then
Ooh.
so another thing about colors is I try to keep everything relatively simple and relatively all the same starting because when you start introducing all these like different hues and stuff, like crazy things can start to get muddy. So when you keep everything really nice and cohesive and pretty tight and close together, you eliminate the possibility of getting really muddy with your colors. And then as we move along, we can start, once we merge everything, we can start incorporating a lot of different hues and a lot of different tones. Because I feel like that's what makes a painting come to life, is just using a lot of different colors. Colors that are a lot of different colors, but colors that are working really close together. So just subtle, slight changes in hue and value can add a lot of life to the painting. But you got to do it carefully because a lot of people go super crazy, like trying to make things colorful, and that's when it's like you start losing a little bit of realism, or it just starts looking a little too muddy or whatever. So
Well,
anyway, okay, so let's hit these shadow areas.
Oh.
And another thing too is, well, I don't have it up right now, but I like to work with I like to work with a navigator. So this way when I'm painting, I can always be referencing my navigator or my thumbnail, and I can see if things are looking pretty good and you're smaller, that's good. That's a good sign, because that's why I'm constantly, if you notice, I zoom in a lot and I zoom out a lot.
Yeah.
And so when I'm zooming out, it's a lot of artists, they do this.
Yes.
Like, and when it's like when you're painting like this, what's wrong with this? What's happening? I'm not seeing the whole picture, right? So when I'm zoomed out and I'm working zoomed out, I can see like that everything's working cohesively, as opposed to if I'm like this and I'm detailing the living crap out of this area, and then I'm like, oh, not like the colors aren't working in other areas, or the lighting or whatever, or the values. So just staying zoomed out is just a smart way to work. because you don't want to get too locked in one area. You want to be able to see the picture as a whole, make sure that everything's working together. So it's all a bunch of parts, and they all make the image. They all play a part to I don't know what I'm trying to say, but anyways.
Okay, yeah.
So okay, so the shoulder pad area, this is all shadow connecting to, so the trap's connecting to the shoulder. So we'll add a shadow here. This is called the acromion process right here, this small bone connection from the trap to the shoulder. And cool. Okay. Save your image.
Save it.
Cool.
So.
Okay, so we're at a good place now. Let's, I think we can start getting into more rendering now. Okay, let's start with the face. So the paint or the brush that I usually use it's called just render brush. I usually use this for most of my stuff, and I like to adjust it. I'll make it a little smaller or a little thinner. I'm not sure where I some of these brushes I bought and some I've just downloaded from different artists that I like. And I'll change the spacing a little bit. You don't have to do this, but if you have a nice texture brush or a chalk brush, that'll
I have
work.
a chalk one.
Okay, yeah, that'll work. So yeah, so we'll just start getting in here and start. Oh, actually, before we start, let's see. The shadows.
Are we changing the color of the shadows?
I like that a lot.
Give me a second. Turn off.
Rick?
Yeah,
What do you think, bud?
I think I like it a lot. What
You like that? You like the warm shadows?
Yeah, I think the warm shadows will work best with the skin, at least.
Okay. We'll go more warm.
Also, differentiate a little in the shadows when it comes to where the shadows are, whether it's warm or cold, can also help push out the whole picture.
Yeah.
But if you overdo it, it can also do the opposite.
Yeah.
Always try and stick with the same color grade. What's it called? Warm
Gradient.
or cold. But differentiate a little bit just to give it a little twist. Really can make it pop.
Yeah. So let's see. Okay. So make a copy of your shadows and then just drag it to the very bottom just in case. I like to just keep it just in case I'm not happy with how things are looking.
1 second.
Okay.
Done.
Okay, so you know, whoever's watching this, as you guys can see, it's a pretty simple setup. You know, it's a pretty relatively straightforward process. So basically, so just to recap on what we've done so far, we're moving into the rendering stage now. So basically we had the line art completed, which you guys didn't see, but we'll get somewhat of a tight line drawing done, and then we'll start laying in all of our flat colors, and then while also checking our values, and then we'll start laying in our shadows, all the shadow colors, so that basically you want to keep things as simple and structured as possible of establishing what is in shadow, what's dark, and what's in light. Now, we don't really have, I guess, these are kind of midtones right now, but we just have basically 2 tones of shadow and light. So, and then, we'll push things where there's areas that are brighter, like here on the nose, and we'll start adding in different variations of midtones. But yeah, so that's basically to recap everything. It's pretty simple, straightforward process.
And I think with that, for you viewers at home, we'll stop for the first part here, and we'll continue recording, and the next part will be up in a matter of few weeks.
Well, I hope you enjoyed today's comic art class. Please let us know what you thought of it in the comments below this video. If you'd like more comic art tips, tricks, and tutorials, be sure to visit www.howtodrawcomics.net. Over on the site, you'll find a ton of tutorials, videos, a podcast, and when you're ready to delve deeper into the art of comic book illustration and level up your skill set, I highly suggest you browse through our selection of premium courses. Alright, that's it. Until next time, keep on creating, keep on practicing, and I'll see you in the next video.